Welcome everybody to Cinema Royale. I am Travis Hopson of PunchdrunkCritics.com, and I'm here with my buddy JoeBlow.com, Chris Bumbray. What up, Chris?
Hey, Travis.
That's good to talk to you, man. You're just freshly back from San Diego Comic-Con. Normally I'd be there with you. I skipped it this year. How was it?
I'm good, but I'm still jet lagged. I'm still jet lagged, but there were great panels, lots of reveals, and yeah, I mean, I drove right from the airport after having gone to my screening of this little independent film that we're talking about a man with the powers of a spider.
We talked about another indie film last time, something called The Odyssey, which has I think it's made like $2 or $3 million. It's doing okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it's doing fine.
It's doing all right. And now we're here to talk about another indie flick, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. This is
The year of Tom Holland and Zendaya. I'm telling you, these two, especially Zendaya,
You need to
when
start saying her name right. It's apparently Zendaya. I got a
Zendaya.
whole bunch of comments from people on our last video saying, "Hey, tell that asshole her name is Zendaya."
Okay, Zendaya. That's weird. But no, but I mean, if you look at it though, like this, the Odyssey in
Doom
Dune
3.
3, like is that going to be like the highest grossing year for an actor
I
ever?
think
Like,
so. I think so. Somebody
yeah.
was talking to me the other day, like, "Oh, somebody's gonna." I think Benny Safdie is gonna have what 1.6 billion dollars this year, and I'm like, Zendaya's gonna blow that shit out of the water by December,
Yeah,
bro.
she's probably gonna have like two or something like that, or maybe more.
Yeah, she's gonna have a ton. I mean, this movie's tracking to make a couple hundred million in week one. I saw one estimate that said three. So
Insane. They didn't even do a promo screening of it. They just did a press screening because it would have been too crazy.
yeah, I
Like
know.
the fans are like rabid, so it would have been too much. So they actually had to like control it.
It's amazing how Marvel has gotten this so right. I was thinking while I was watching this after I was watching it, and I was thinking about where this all started. With Sony kind of dropping the ball with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Although that second movie still did fine, it's like, but they were like, they made that instructive deal with Marvel to reboot Spider-Man. I thought a little early, but they did it anyway. And man, is it paid off. I think he might be the best handled character in the entire MCU.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. And talking about this movie, I honestly didn't really know what to expect because it was one of those things like where do you go with the character after No Way Home?
Yeah.
You teamed up the three Spider-Men, like how do you get bigger than that? But I think, and also it'll never be as innovative as the Spider-Verse movies. But I think that what they did and was smart in this movie was that they didn't even try to go bigger. They just tried to give you something of a more mature storyline,
Yeah.
reflecting the fact that he's getting older. He's 30 now, and I actually really appreciated that.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the thing that I took away from the most while watching this is that, man, it feels good to see just a grounded, personal, character-driven story from Marvel again after what it's been years of cosmic threats and
Yeah.
planet-destroying threats and universal villains.
Multiverse.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, multiverse stuff and which has coincided with audiences sort of turning it off too, like
Yeah.
not really paying attention. I hope Marvel is getting a hint that they like these stories even better, like way better. Yes,
Yeah.
you build up to something like Doomsday or Avengers Endgame. You build up to that through these kinds of stories, not by giving people cosmic, multiverse over and over again. That's not how you do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think not every movie has to be an Avengers kind of tentpole type thing,
Yeah.
and I think that Destin Daniel Cretton did a good job directing it. I was wary at first, but I think he did a good job. I thought it was a good looking movie, but I thought that Holland probably gives his best performance to date in this movie. And I'm not always a huge fan of his. Like I didn't actually think he was great in the Odyssey. I thought he was
You
kind
didn't
of
like you didn't
miscast.
like Cherry. You didn't think Cherry was great in Cherry.
Cherry was a disaster. I mean, it really that was the movie where I was like, this guy is not a great actor. It was Cherry. It was but he also had directors that really didn't know how to make a movie like that. Like let's get real. The Russos are good at one thing.
For a long
They
time, his best movie was still like The Impossible, and that was like his first movie.
Well, when he was good in, was it The Devil All the Time? Like that movie
Yeah.
that nobody saw? I thought he was good in that. But I thought he was, but I've always liked him as Spider-Man, and I thought that this was his best performance. I really liked what they did with his character. I liked how everything with Zendaya and MJ played out. And Yeah, it was very satisfying. We can't say much about the villains. The only thing I will say is it could have probably used a better villain, especially if you're going to bring the Punisher into it. Like I felt the Punisher was kind of wasted. Like he never got like a great badass moment, but that just wasn't the kind
Right.
of movie that was. It was more of a almost like a character study. But I think for that it was actually good. Had a lot of heart.
I love the dynamic between Spider-Man and the Punisher. It felt like those Marvel team ups I used to read, growing up. I think the best team ups were always Spider-Man and the Punisher or
Yeah.
Spider-Man and Daredevil. Like Spider-Man with these street level, more violent characters than him. The dynamic is always so perfect with him trying to, be the great power, great responsibility guy, keep everybody safe, and Punisher just going out there guns blazing. The dynamic just works, and I thought it on a action buddy comedy level, their scenes were fantastic for me. John Bernthal is
Well,
just great in that role.
yeah, I mean I mean they're similar in some ways because they're both kind of these lonely characters, which I liked, and I liked how they kind of, dealt with the loneliness epidemic that's hitting a lot of people, in a lot of ways. And I think that some people may find the movie relatable from that because it does speak about isolation and and about people burying themselves in their work and burying themselves in one specific thing.
Especially
My
as a
only thing
means
with
especially as a means of overcoming grief. People throw
yeah,
themselves into other things to distract themselves, which is what Peter
100%.
Parker is doing throughout this movie.
Yeah, 100%. The only thing when I say Punisher could have been used better is that if you'd put him in a movie with like a great villain to have like some, real action would have been great. But it was just a different kind of movie. And it was interesting seeing the Punisher in that kind of grounded thing. Like it's the only Punisher movie you'll ever see where there's no body count, you know?
Right. He does have a couple of pivotal scenes though, in the
Yeah.
movie. So he's not exactly we're talking about him, but he's a little bit more than just a side character. He has some
No.
key stuff to do in this. And
No, he's like almost he's not the second lead, but he's up there. He's in the movie more than Zendaya is or
yeah,
anybody else. But
maybe more in it than Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo's
yeah.
Hulk, who's in it for a bit, he gets kind of the mentor vibe a little bit that we've seen established in like virtually every Spider-Man movie in the MCU, although in a little slightly different way, a little tweak to it. But the Punisher's really great in this. Um, we can talk a little bit about the villain. We're not going to reveal who it is, of course, but Sadie Sink
Yeah.
is the villain. I was look.
Did you hear about that rapper who apparently gave away something too much and his song got axed in the soundtrack, like at the last minute, apparently?
I see that. That guy's a moron, whoever it is. I'm just gonna say, look, I think Sadie Sink is solid in the role, and I'll
Yeah.
say the character that she is playing, it's a the origin that's used for it is a interesting way to introduce her,
Yeah,
and
and I think
and
yeah.
I like it because I wasn't expecting it that way.
Well, and she's almost similar. I did find like I was getting flashbacks to Stranger Things, a
Mhm.
little bit like it's the same kind of performance, but I think she was cast because of that and because of what she's
Yep.
shown that she can do. And it's funny. Even though I think Millie Bobby Brown is probably like at right now the biggest star, I do think that in like 10 years time, when we look back at Stranger Things and we're like, oh, who is the biggest star to come out of that show? I really do think it's going to be her.
I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
A lot of the actors in that show don't seem like they want to be like gigantic stars. Like
You don't need to though. After you've done that show, you could go to a comic convention, make 50 grand in a weekend forever.
true, there are plenty of
Yeah.
actors we know who do that now. They start in one show and they keep going to comic conventions and making way more than I do. So I ain't gonna say nothing about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Good for them. But yeah, if I had like a complaint, and I don't have many, I think this is maybe it's on par with No Way Home for me. Like the Spider-Man movies for me, Spider-Man has never been my favorite Marvel character. I think I've liked him more in this than I have on the comics page. But the first two movies I thought they're fine. They're good. Which is the way I
Yeah.
felt about a lot of Marvel stuff. Like they're fine, they're good.
Yeah, I agree.
No Way Home was the fan service one, and I dug it the most because I thought it just went big and it went balls to the wall, and I loved that it did that. And then this one I think is on par with that. It's fan service in a different kind of way. I think it's fan service to people who really just appreciate the human aspects of the character, more so than just spectacle and like Easter eggs and stuff like that. So, um,
I'd rank it slightly below No Way Home. But for me, like the greatest Spider-Man movies, and nothing could compare to them, is the Spider-Verse films. Just because I just don't think anything can
yeah,
touch them.
tough to
You
compare to.
know, I don't even know. I think like as far as superhero movies go, they're probably the two greatest ever, maybe in some ways. But well, two of the greatest ever. A serious
Absolutely.
case can be made for that. But no, as far as the live action Spider-Man movies go, this one is, pretty close to the top. They all have flaws, right? I mean, like the first Spider-Man movie, even the first three Spider-Man movies, they've all got, I think two is probably the best of that trilogy. I
Yep.
liked both Garfield movies, especially the first one.
Yeah.
Um, I think he was my favorite Spider-Man, to be honest. But I do like how different they all are, though, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like they have differentiated Peter Parkers. I think that's why No Way Home worked so well because they were able to play off of each other, not to be the same person. Um, no, I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did because I'm always kind of wary of a Marvel movie, to be honest. Like, and I have been for a while. But I definitely enjoyed it while I was watching it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I know I got some friends who are going to be eager to see it. Um, it's been fun to watch Tom Holland kind of become a better actor, kind of growing into the role
Yeah.
as Peter Parker's growing and becoming a hero. I like the way and he's the only character we really get to see make this kind of evolution, like
Yeah, yeah, sure.
a reluctant hero to kind of a tragic hero. In this one, he's run the paces in in these four movies. And the interesting thing is, Marvel's been reluctant to go past three with any of their movies other than Thor, and the fourth one was probably a mistake. Spider-Man just keeps getting better. Like it's the franchise that if they wanted to keep going with the fifth one, which they probably will,
Of course they will.
of course they will, because this one's going to make 1 billion easy, and
Yeah,
maybe
more
do
than a
I know
billion.
maybe more. They're
It's,
going to do another one, and I'm as eager for the fifth one as I was for this one and the one before.
I mean, he went from a boy to being a man, and I think that Holland is young. I mean, Holland could keep playing this role for another 20 years or
It's
even
funny him
longer.
making jokes about not being a teenager anymore, though. It is funny.
Yeah, but it could go on for a long, long time. My only thing is, will he want to go on for a long, long time in those roles? Because I think that him and Zendaya have both. Well, I think Zendaya especially has gotten so huge for these films, but then again, they're together still. So maybe as long as they're married, she'll keep showing up in these. I love her as Mary Jane, as MJ.
Me too.
Uh,
I think if one of my complaints is that I feel like their story is left a little bit more unresolved than I would have liked.
well, they're leaving it open for more.
Yeah, I felt like there was one more conversation that needed to be had between the two of them before this ended. So that's as far as I'll
But
say.
they'll be back. They'll be back.
They needed to have one more conversation before she got shot with a bazooka by a Punisher, and that was the end of her. So yeah,
Yeah.
no more MJ. It just really sucks.
Damn, sorry.
That had to happen.
Oops. Sorry, bro.
I know, right? Two actors from The Bear in this too. This is interesting.
Yes, yes, it's true.
She had
It's
a somewhat bigger role than I expected as well. I can't remember her name, of course, because I can't remember anybody's name.
Yeah, yeah, the cop,
Yeah,
and also you had Travis Tramell from
yeah.
Summons.
Yeah, and he had an interesting role too. I don't know
Mhm.
why anybody trusts damage control. Damage control is always bad. Anyway, all right. So Spider-Man, Brand New Day opens in theaters on July 31st.
Make
It's
a
going
few
to be
bucks. I'll
yeah,
make a few bucks.
it's going to do okay. It's going
Yeah,
to
I think
do
so. I think I'm optimistic.
okay. This
It's funny
this is
though,
gonna
it'll open probably like 250 mil. I'm
yeah,
thinking something
that's
like
it's
that.
yeah, it's tracking gigantic. Here's the question though: Is this the movie that's going to get Marvel back on track? They got Doomsday coming in December. Are people
Do
who
people
see
really
this going to
consider
get
it a
mad?
Marvel movie though?
What's that?
Do people consider it a Marvel movie though? Because I feel like people consider these Spider-Man movies. Like I read something
Hmm.
earlier where they were saying superhero fatigue is real, but no Spider-Man fatigue. Like I do think that even people that don't like superhero movies, will go see a Spider-Man movie. It's the same as Batman. I think people will go see a Batman movie
Yeah.
regardless. I think it's it's kind of the equivalent, I think, where people still
Good
just
question.
really like that character.
That's a very good question because these movies have remained stable throughout. In fact, they seem to be getting bigger and bigger. Whether there's Marvel, as Marvel has kind of receded in terms of like audience attention, Spider movies just kind of stay the same. So you could be right about that.
Yeah, I think there are certain characters that kind of just transcend the genre. I think that, Spider-Man is that. I think Batman is that. I think Black Panther could easily be that as well. Where and Deadpool for sure. It's just they'll kind of, people will go to those regardless,
I
more
think
so than they're actually
X-Men could
interested
be
in them.
that for Marvel too. And if X-Men
I
is
think
that, I mean, then the MCU is basically back on track again. If X-Men are that.
I
The
think it was
X-Men are
very
not the
telling.
Avengers. People want to compare the two. The X-Men are not the Avengers. The
No,
Avengers have never, ever, 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 and never will have the profile that the X-Men have had over the past 40 years. It will never be the case. The
with
X-Men are a much bigger franchise than the Avengers ever were, with a much bigger fan base. People who will go see an X-Men movie may never ever go see an Avengers movie. It's just
well,
different.
the thing is, I think what was very telling was the fact that Gosling was cast as Ghost Rider because that was so against the Marvel MO, where they would cast unknowns or rising stars to play those roles. And now they went with a movie star. And I think that that goes to show you that, they're not what they once was because it would have been somebody totally unknown as Ghost Rider a couple of years ago. They would have,
I
or
I heard that they want Mahershala Ali to play Blade.
I think they would never do that again. Where they would take like somebody.
They
I think they learned their lesson to wait until they're pretty confident a movie's going to happen before
yeah
announcing your star.
yeah they're never gonna go through that humiliation again.
Yeah,
7 years of build up to a movie that never ever shot a single frame.
I know.
They're not gonna go through that anymore. And Marvel used to do it all the time. That's to be what their whole Comic-Con panels used to be, was announcing shit that may or may not happen. Now, for them, they were lucky. Most of that stuff did happen. But once they stopped happening, it was like, ooh, y'all need to stop doing this stuff.
I remember Sony used to do that too. I remember Sony announced the big fanfare Bad Bunny in the El Mormete movie, and that
Yep.
never happened.
Yep.
Sometimes they get really ahead of themselves. Remember though the Universal with the dark universe. That was the one. That was the embarrassing one.
Ooh, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was so bad they made you want to forget that Dracula Untold was a part of it. You're like, no, 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 it's not. No, it's not. And then the mummy stunk. They're like, oh, okay, let's just stop here. Oh my God. Poor Tom Cruise in that movie. Anyway. All right. Spider-Man Brand New Day. It opens this weekend. It's going to be gigantic. If you haven't got your tickets, you better do it quick.
Yeah.
Because they're going to sell out like crazy this weekend. Both Chris and I think it's really, really freaking good.
Speaking of selling out, by the way, the Odyssey in Montreal has a 70 millimeter IMAX screen, and tickets around the clock are sold out for like weeks.
The 70 millimeters here are sold out. And a lot of the ones at like the actual IMAXs at like the Smithsonian's, those
Mhm.
have been sold out for ages.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
yeah, I know. We went to see it again last weekend. It's
Oh, nice.
I think it's great. I just think it's great. I really do. Um, Not quite Troy, but it's okay. Just
Oh,
kidding. I
speaking of
love Troy.
which,
I love Troy. Oh, I'm tempted to watch it again this weekend. I haven't watched the director's cut in a while. So,
I haven't watched the director's cut in years. I actually, no, you know what? I don't even think I've seen the director's cut. I think the only time I ever saw Troy was in theaters.
oh,
So
get
curious
yourself
to
the
watch.
director's cut. It's better.
Yeah, yeah, I have it's on there. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I think I might do that this weekend, actually. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Spider-Man Brand New Day is open this weekend, as I've said for three times already. Have everybody have a good one. Go check out Chris at Jillable.com and find me at punchdrunkcritics.com. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.